Hi friends, welcome to Cyber Pathshala. So today I'm uploading my first video into Java tutorial for beginners playlist. So in this playlist I'm going to cover both core Java and advanced Java. So and today's topic is introduction to Java. So before we move on to this topic, so let us start with a question of what is a computer. So we all know that computer is a machine which basically executes or performs a set of instructions given by the end user. So now the question is how these instructions can be given. So let us see an example. Let's say you have a friend who knows only Telugu. And if you want to give any instructions to that friend, obviously you need to give the instructions in the Telugu language only so that he can understand. Right? So in the same way, if you want to give any instructions to the computer, so you need to give the instructions in the language what a computer can understand. So now what language a computer can understand? As it is a machine, it can understand only the machine language. So what is a machine language? Machine language is nothing but the language in which all the instructions were written in binary code. What is a binary code? Binary code is nothing but the zeros. All the instructions will be written in zeros and ones. So only this language can be understandable by the machine. Let us see what are the different types of languages that we have. So after people started programming, these are the different types of languages came across. So we have low level languages, middle level languages and high level languages. So in the low level languages, we have machine level language and assembly level language. So machine level language we already discussed. So all the instructions should be given in either zeros or ones. So in the assembly level languages, so already a predefined instructions were already given, so we can directly use them. So as an example like add, sub, mul, move, etc. So these are the predefined instructions directly we can use. So coming to a middle level language, so C is there under middle level language. So we all know that C is a structure oriented programming language. But the drawback with the C language is it doesn't support object orientedness. It doesn't support OOPS principles. So these are the drawbacks with the C language. So then after C++ was introduced. So in the C++, it supports the OOPS principles, but there is a drawback with the C++ language also. Because so in C++ we have to handle with the pointers. So which is an extra burden for the developer. And all the memory management also should be taken care by the developer only. So these are the drawbacks with the C++ language. In the high level languages, we have Java, C#, etc. So let us discuss about Java. So Java is simple and it supports object orientedness, and also the memory management also will be taken care by the Java itself only. Here I have a question for you. So what is the faster programming languages? Is it a low level programming languages or middle level programming languages or high level programming languages? So we all think that definitely it's a high level languages because so it came recently and it's more advanced versions of the programming languages, right? No, the answer is no. Because so let us see a diagram here. If you see this diagram, all the low level languages can be directly interacted with the hardware. But whereas high level languages or middle level languages, first they need to be translated into a low level language so that a machine can understand. So then only it can execute the instructions. So in the middle level languages and high level languages, so there is a translation phase. So whatever the middle level language or high level language instructions that we have written, first they need to be converted into a machine understandable language. So this time, whatever it has taken, so that we call it as a translation time. So and this translation will be done by the either a compiler or an interpreter. So this is an extra time will be taken by the either a middle level language or high level language. But whereas low level languages, directly, those are the machine level language instructions only. So that can be directly understandable by the hardware. And the moment you write a program, directly it can be executed by the hardware. So now you tell me which is faster, because in the middle level language or a high level language, so there is an extra time which needs to be there for conversion of your high level or a middle level language program into a low level language. So interestingly, if you see even now, so Google, Facebook, and YouTube, all these programming languages still they use C and C++ programming languages for their backend server. Let us look at the history of Java. Originally, it is invented by James Gosling while he is working in Sun Microsystems in 1991. And initially, it was named as Oak, and later they renamed it to a Java. And the first public available version of Java they released in 1995, that is Java 1.0. Sun Microsystems was acquired by Oracle in 2010. So initially Java used to be free and it is open source, but now it is a paid version. So now what is an alternate for Oracle JDK? So now we have an Open JDK, which is a free software and it is a open source. So and let us see what are the different components that we have under Java. So under Java we have a JDK and we have a JRE and we have a JVM. So let us discuss what is a JDK and what is a JRE and what is a JVM in the next slide. And what are all the different editions were released by a Java. So Java released a Java SE, which is nothing but a Java, a standard edition, and we also call that as Core Java. And also they released a Java EE, which is nothing but a Java Enterprise Edition, which is nothing but an advanced Java. And also they released a Java ME for mobile applications, Java Micro Edition. Also they released Java FX, which means a Java Special Effects. So which will be used for developing a rich internet applications which can run on any device. It means it can run on a mobile and it can run on a tablet and it can run on a PC. So let us see what are all the different components that we have in Java. So we already discussed we have a JDK and we have a JRE and we have a JVM under Java. So and let us discuss what is a JDK and what is a JRE and what is a JVM. A JDK is nothing but Java Development Kit, as the name itself tells us. So Java Development Kit will be used by the Java developers or the programmers who write the code. The end user or a customer, they won't do any development, so they don't need JDK. So all they need is the Java runtime library, which will be used while running the Java program. So and let us see what is a JVM. JVM is nothing but a Java virtual machine, so which is responsible for executing a Java program. If you see this diagram, under JDK we'll be having a JRE as well as a JVM. But the compiler will be available only in the JDK, because after a developer develops a program, so which will be saved as a .java file, and after compilation it will be converted into a .class file, which is nothing but a bytecode which can be understandable by the JVM. And also under JDK we have some supporting library which will be used while compiling or running the Java program. So under the JRE we'll be having a JVM as well as a Java supporting library which is used while running the Java program. And coming to JVM, JVM is responsible for executing a Java program. JVM is required for both the developers as well as the end users for running their Java programs. So after the development is finished, so we won't share the .java files with the end users or the customers. So we will be sharing only the dot class files for each Java program, either in a dot class file format or a jar file format. Jar file is nothing but a set of multiple dot class files for a different Java program. So let us see a different features of Java. So here we have the list. Java is simple and it is object oriented and it is platform independent and it is secure and it is supports multi-threading and also it is robust and it is dynamic and it is extendable. So let us discuss about one after the other. Java is simple because it followed the same syntax like C++ and also it is written in a simple English language. And Java supports object orientedness. It supports all the OOPS principles. So in Java, everything we can represent as an object. Platform independent. If you write a Java program in one operating system, directly it can run on other operating system also. It means if you write a Java program in a Windows operating system, directly this Java program can be run on either a Mac OS or a Linux or a Solaris operating system machines. So that is the reason we call Java as write once, run anywhere. We will discuss how this platform independency will be achieved in the next slide. Java is secure because it supports some cryptography methodologies like encryption and decryption. Also, with Java, we can develop a virus-free applications. Java supports multi-threading, which means a task can be shared among multiple threads. So I'll give you an example here. So let us say you want to download a software which is of 500 MB and which takes 5 minutes of time for downloading. If you share this task among 5 threads, so which can be downloaded in a 1 minute. So each thread will be downloading 100 MB of data. Java is robust, which means strong because of its good memory management and also the garbage collection and also the exception handling. So which make Java as robust. Java is dynamic because it supports the dynamic loading of classes, which means the classes will be loaded when needed. Java is extendable because of its API. So initially we started with core Java and now we have different frameworks which supports Java like Struts, Spring. In this slide, I am going to explain how the platform independency will be achieved by Java. So here we have 4 operating systems: Windows, Linux, Solaris and Mac OS. And each operating system have their own Java. But we have a common JVM between all these operating systems. So when you write a Java program, initially it is saved as a .java file. And after the compilation, that .java file will be converted into a .class file. So which will be having a bytecode. And this bytecode can be understandable by the each JVM. So when you write a Java program in a Windows operating system, so that can be understandable by a JVM under a Linux operating system. So this is how Java achieves platform independency. Friends, before we move on to train your brain section, if you feel this video is helpful, please like, share and subscribe. And also please click on the bell icon to receive all the notifications. Today's question in train your brain section is, you have given a 3-gallon jug and a 5-gallon jug. How do you measure out exactly 4 gallons? So I'm repeating the question again. So you have given a 3-gallon jug and a 5-gallon jug. How do you measure out exactly 4 gallons using this 3-gallon jug and 5-gallon jug? Please write your answers in the comment section. If you have any questions in today's session, please write them in the comment section. I'll pick the top 5 questions which will be useful for everyone, and those gets answered in the next session. Friends, if you feel this video is helpful, please share it with your friends and family members, and please do watch out for the next session. Thank you.